Hi, I'm Jessica here in New Orleans. Today we are going to cook a healthy, warming wintertime recipe in a rice cooker. You can also do this on a stove, but it's a somewhat innovative way to use a rice cooker. So this recipe, we're going to use lentils, quinoa, a few veggies, and ginger. Ginger is a wonderful spice. It's very warming. It helps our digestion. It's also anti-inflammatory and has all these other wonderful properties, and it tastes really good. So ginger, vegetables of your choice. Today we're going to use some carrots, mushrooms, and kale. So let's go ahead and start putting everything together. And you'll see how remarkably easy this is to do. Often people say they don't have time to cook or eat healthy, but this can kind of prove that wrong because it's very quick and easy. So we're going to go with a half a cup of lentils. These are red lentils. Other lentils can work too. These are mung lentils can work. The simple lentils of Puy can work. You want them to not, beans would not work because they cook for a longer time. You could also do this with rice, but today we're going to use quinoa. So I'm using a half a cup of each of those. Then I'm going to throw some carrots in. I simply peeled and chopped the carrots to give some color to this dish, and carrots are a nice wintertime root vegetable. Next I'm going to add some mushrooms I've chopped. These are cremini mushrooms. And what else do we have here? Kale. So I'll show you a kale trick. This has been washed already. So you simply do like that, get the kale off its stem, then give it a few quick tears. Super easy. And kale is an amazing vegetable for its nutrient density. It also has a lot of protein for a vegetable. So we want to eat a lot of kale. It's also a cruciferous vegetable. The cruciferous vegetables have excellent cancer-fighting properties. And I also wanted to mention that mushrooms are extremely good for the immune system. Often in wintertime, people get colds and stuff. So eating a healthy dose of mushrooms every day can help you to prevent colds and such. So we'll do one more piece of kale. And I thought we'd add a little bit of cabbage because in the new year, here in New Orleans, we eat cabbage. And it's also excellent for you and tastes good. So I'm just going to chop a little bit of cabbage here. Chop the end off of that head. Dice it a little bit. And then we can throw it right in. Yeah, here we go. And then I have some ginger. I've already peeled and chopped. In just a second, I'm going to show you the trick for peeling ginger, which is another nice trick to know. So the last thing we'll do is add some water. So we use the amount of water double what we put in lentils and quinoa. So because we put a cup of those, we're going to use 2 cups of water. You actually don't need to increase the water content because of the veggies, because what happens is that the veggies give off water when they start to cook. So you don't need to add more water. If you do add a lot more water, or if you add more water, what can happen is the quinoa can get a little mushy. So you could also add some other spices. I love turmeric, and it's another spice that is extremely healthy for us. It has the highest antioxidant content in nature. So we're going to add some turmeric to that. It's also anti-inflammatory and has many other great properties. And cumin is also very good and tasty and good for digestion and helps people who have tendencies towards acidity. You could use garam masala, but I'm not going to today because we're going for more Asian-inspired spices. So we're going to put that in the rice cooker, turn it on, and let it go. In the meantime, I'm going to show you a little sauce that you can use for the quinoa dish. This is just a simple thing I do myself often. So I mentioned the great ginger peeling trick. So you take a spoon and you rub the spoon on the ginger and the skin comes right off. So it's super easy. And you don't waste any of that amazing ginger that way, right? So that's all you'd have to do. You can even get around the hard, bumpy edges with a spoon. And then you'd simply chop it up from there. Now, as I said, I already have some ginger chopped for our little sauce, so we'll use that. So we're going to throw the ginger in. You could also grate the ginger. That's another awesome way to do it. We are going to use a lime, a whole lime. You could use a lemon. I prefer the flavor of limes. And this is a squeezer, a citrus squeezer, which I love. I brought this back from Thailand because it's so quick and easy for squeezing the juice out of limes. So we'll squeeze that in and give it a little bit more. And this gives you a little bit of like a acid taste, but limes are usually easy for people with acidity. And they're also mildly warming, which is also nice in wintertime, right? A little bit of lime. Okay. So then I love sesame seeds, especially black sesame seeds. And they're also very high in calcium. So they're a great thing to add to your dishes because people often wonder about vegetarian food and how you get enough calcium and protein. And by the way, this has an extraordinary amount of protein. Quinoa by itself gives you all the 9 essential amino acids. And when you pair it with the lentils, it's even higher in protein. So I digressed. We're back to the sesame seeds. We're going to add a touch of something to give it some savory salt. So we have Bragg's amino acids, which are a soy sauce alternative. So you can use those at time. If you like tamari, you could also use tamari. So I'm just going to give it a few squirts with the Bragg's. And again, you can adjust this to your taste. And I like to use a touch of sesame oil, not a lot, but just a few drops of dark sesame oil goes a long, long way in a dressing like this. And then you simply stir it up, and when our vegetables and quinoa and lentils are ready, we're going to eat this sauce with that. So we'll be back in a couple minutes. All right, we're back. So that took us about 25 minutes in the rice cooker. And if you were to cook that on the stove, you would do the exact same thing, put it in a pot, cover it, and watch until the water would be absorbed. So probably about 20-ish minutes, maybe 25. So now we'll just put it all together. We'll be ready to eat. So we're gonna open up the rice cooker, spoon out. This is a great meal full of veggies and other good things. The lentils kind of melt into the quinoa, so you barely even see them. So serve it up, and then with a little bit of our sauce, there, mix it all in. I like to eat it with a little bit of fresh avocado. That's another great addition. And if you like spice, you could eat it with a little bit of hot sauce. This stuff, sriracha hot sauce, is pretty good. So here's your yummy winter meal. Enjoy.